Hello, welcome to another week with author E. Jamie. We are we've got some stuff to show off today because there is some stuff from last week that I didn't show off to you guys just because when I got back from because I'd gone to the post office, and then when I got back, I don't think that I updated you guys on what I picked up, because I think maybe like I had too much stuff to do, so I didn't have time to like vlog it and everything. So that's a little bit of a carryover from last week. So maybe you won't judge me too harshly, considering that this was not all this week. Maybe. But I got some non-book stuff to show you guys as well. But first, just got back from my walk. It's a gray day today, but it is, I think, 6 degrees, which is not bad considering like that spring supposedly came yesterday. Was the first day of spring, but I think like we had like that one day was like sunny, and now it's gray again. But at least it's not like freezing cold. It's chilly. It's chillier than I would like it to be, but it's still like comfortable enough to like go out and everything. But yeah, I cannot wait for the actual like sun, not the heat. Mind you, your girl does not like the summer, but I just want it to get nice and sort of comfortable, more comfortable than it is starting to be. But yeah, went on my walk, went to a library, went to the Riverdale library, just because I started thinking about that, and I was like, I remember going there sort of as a kid, because I moved around a lot, and so I've gone to like a lot of different libraries, and I sort of want to like go back to them, and Riverdale is one of Riverdale, like the library, not the TV show, but yeah, it was one of the libraries that I used to go to when I was little. So I decided that I was going to go there today and do like a little walk around the neighborhood. The layout of the neighborhood, from like what I remember, looks very different. It's like Broadview and I think Danforth, and it's mostly like Vietnamese shops and stuff now. Maybe like when I get paid, I'd like to sort of like go like inside the shops and like see like try like some different food and stuff. That would be cool. But for now, I just sort of like walked around the neighborhood and just sort of marveled at like how different it was from what I remembered. Yeah, and then went to the library and picked up some stuff. But first, let me show you the carryover stuff from last week. I got at the one library that I'd gone to. No, yeah, this is from the one library that I'd gone to. Was I got two books from there. Yeah, I got 2 books from there. 2 books from the sale rack at the library, and one of them was Lorraine Heath's Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel, and I absolutely love Lorraine Heath so much. I love her historicals. She's sort of in the same vein of like Anne Gracie for me. Maybe a little sexier. Maybe a smidge sexier, I would say. Her sexy times are a little bit sexier. Not to say that Anne Gracie's not hot. Like, her books are hot, but I think Lorraine Heath has a little bit more. But they have that same sort of emotional punch. So I enjoy Lorraine Heath's books so very much. I also picked up this other Catholic. I'm sorry if you hear the fire alarm going off. But I'm gonna be like Joey and Chandler, feeling like the floor. It's not hot yet. We got time. Kathleen E. Woodiwis's So Worthy My Love. I'd not even heard of this book, but we've got Kathleen E. Woodiwis on the look at that, I did it right, yay! On the TBR shelf. We are going to be doing a reading vlog for The Flame and the Flower when I do that, when I get to that. But yeah, I wanted to check out this other one of hers, So Worthy My Love. I've never even heard of it. Does it have an insert cover? No, it does not, and that makes me sad. But yeah, I got these two from the sale rack at that library. And when I went to the post office, remember there is a bookstore across from the post office, so of course I went there. And was that all that I got from there? I think. Nope, wait, there was one more. I got 3 books from that place, that little store that is across the post office. So let me show you. I got Isabel Allende's Maya's Notebook, which I really hope that I like Isabel Allende's books, because I keep getting drawn into buying them, and it would be a real shame if I don't, and I usually don't do that, but for some reason for her books I'm tempted to grab them when I see them, and I'm hoping that's a good sign. So fingers crossed. And I got my Penguin Black Classic, which is Patrick White's Voss. And I need to check my TBR mountains over there, because I was debating this one again and again as I was looking at it, because I don't know if I already have it. If I do end up already having it, guess what? Giveaway! But I don't know, just the blurb sort of drew me in. And granted, I want to get all like the Penguin classics, but not necessarily all the Penguin Black classics, because I want to, the ones that like draw me in and like interest me, and that like I want to try reading and stuff, because there's a few that I've looked at and I'm like, I don't think I would ever read that. But this one, there's a love story in here, so definitely picked that up. And I got the Paper Mill Press edition of How Beautiful! How beautiful is that? My absolute favorite classic of all time, Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. How gorgeous is that? And it's metallic, and it's just, look at that. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And just, oh, it's just beautiful. I cannot even. So I was so happy to get, and like the inside papers are purple, which is my favorite color. And there's the back blurb with like the same sort of metallic. There's a candelabra there. And just, oh. It's so pretty. So definitely had to grab that. Now, these two, this one I found in the lobby of my building, and it's Elizabeth Jane Howard's Confusion, and I just realized it says Volume 3, so, and it's one of those like family saga books, and I believe it's about 3 sisters, but it's book 3, so I need to like do a little look up on book one and see like what that's about. Now, this book was a book that I ordered a very long time ago. Well, very long. In like, I think in January? Yeah, I think I ordered this book in January. And it just came this week because their website was hacked. Indigo, our sort of major bookstore here in Canada, is Chapters Indigo. And they got hacked in February. So there was some delays, and unfortunately, because it was hacked, like you couldn't go in and like cancel your order because the website wasn't working. So they were all like, you know, just hang on, we'll honor like all the orders and everything. You'll get your book, and just like hang on, and then we're working on getting everything like back up and running and blah blah blah. And it finally did come. The Last Night in London by Karen White. And now Karen White is the author of The Lost Hours, which absolutely is one of my favorite books of all time. Absolutely adored it. But I didn't realize that this was the, where are you? Large print edition. I did not know that, but that's okay. So very happy that this finally came. Now, yesterday I had my long shift at work, my 2 to 10, and usually I haven't gotten many of those. And now that like my leg is like 99% better, or 100% better sometimes, and then just 99% on like other days, but you know what I mean. And it wasn't bugging me yesterday until like the end of my shift, actually. But I like to use like those longer shifts to be able to buy something at work. Now, usually the things that I buy at work are books. But your girl is trying to be good because there's that, and there's that. So your girl is trying to be good, not just. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna treat myself, but I'm not gonna treat myself to more books because God help us all. So I decided that I was gonna buy earrings because I need more earrings. So I bought a few pairs of very pretty earrings. I wanted to show you guys what I got. So that's one. I bought 4 pairs of earrings. And that's another one. Look at how pretty! These ones. And finally, these ones. So, that is what I got yesterday in my nice like little employee sort of discount. So we're all caught up on there. So today, what I got, I went to that library, the Riverdale Library, and got some stuff. But on the way there, on a curb, there was this book, Maeve Binchy's Scarlet Feather. And you know how I always say, if there is a book on a curb or in a box or something, it's like the universe wants you to have it. So the universe wants me to read this book. So, and I've heard like good things about Maeve Binchy, that she's very sort of homey, very sort of Irish cottagecore kind of books. So very much looking forward to that one. And the sale rack at this library had a bunch of like Danielle Steele, but none that like really sort of grabbed me. So and Danielle Steele is sort of hit or miss for me anyway, because she's very sort of telly and not showy, which it's sort of hard to sort of get immersed in her books, because you sort of feel like you're sort of out, like you don't really get invested sort of in her books, I don't find, with rare exceptions. And I think I've mentioned before, my favorite Danielle Steele books are Star, Zoya, and an old favorite that I'd forgot about, Thurston House, which I found and am very excited to have found and added to my keeper shelf. Right away I added that to my keeper shelf because I remember loving that book. So I didn't pick up the Danielle Steele ones, but what I did pick up was another Lorraine Heath, The Return of the Duke, and I decided to give Nora Roberts a pickup, and this is a duology, The Winning Hand and The Perfect Neighbor. Now, from the back blurbs, I think I'm going to like The Perfect Neighbor more, but still looking forward to checking these out. So, got that. And let me show, I think that's it in like books wise, but let me show you what DVDs I borrowed. Very excited to finally watch On the Basis of Sex, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg story. So excited because I remember like as soon as like the trailer came out, me and my sister were like dying to watch it. So looking forward to that. There for now. Lovelace, which is the story with Amanda Seyfried playing her. If you remember Linda Lovelace and who she was, and it's sort of her story of her rise to fame in the adult entertainment industry, and the sort of abuse that she suffered and breaking free of that, and very interested to check out this movie. I finally found season 1 of The Affair, because my sister, God rest her soul, was a fan of this show, and I always like meant to check it out, but never, got a chance to. And whenever I would go to like the libraries that I usually frequent, they would only have like season 2 or season 4 or season 3 or what have you. They never had season 1. Finally, this library that I went to today, they had season 1, so I'm very excited about that. So yay! And then these 3 are documentaries. This one is The Witness, and it's about a murder in 1964, and how there were like all these witnesses that saw it happen and nobody helped her, and that is like just so like frightening to me, and just like it's one like I don't know if I'd call it like one of my like biggest fears, but it's just something that like really like freaks me out, the idea that this could happen and that this has happened. So I think that's gonna traumatize me. This one is Lost in America, and it is a documentary about homelessness, and I believe specifically like teenage homelessness, and it has a bunch of stars in it like John Bon Jovi, Jewel, Rosario Dawson, Tiffany Haddish, Halle Berry, Sana Lathan, I'm sorry, I don't know, and Rebecca Gayheart Dane, who I know, I think the only person that I don't know is the person Sana Lathan, and I'm sorry that I don't know that person, but after this I will. And Emancipation Road, and it's a documentary on slavery, and it's a continuation or from the same people who made Up From Slavery. And I haven't watched Up From Slavery, but oh, Lionheart. Okay, Lionheart Film. I didn't know that they did like DVDs, but I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel. So yeah, I think that's where like I saw the mention of Up From Slavery, and I haven't watched that one yet, but I definitely want to. But I have this one there waiting for me. Yeah, so those are like all the stuff that I sort of got over the past couple of weeks. Let me give you some reading updates. Where are you? There you are. So, I finished the Book of Negroes, and I enjoyed it. There were some lovely, beautiful lines in here, some very sort of like affecting sort of moments. And if you don't know, this is the story, a novel about a slave girl named Aminata, who gets literally taken from her village in the 16th century, 17th, 1800s, I believe. Yeah, in the 1700s and late 1700s, and it's sort of her story, and it's very powerful. But I will say, towards the ending, it kind of dragged for me a bit. Some bits in New York dragged, and then when she goes to Nova Scotia, and that kind of dragged for me too, a little bit too. Then there was like the whole heartbreaking. I mean, this girl goes through some heartbreak, y'all. Like, oh my god. And all like as soon as like the freaking thing happened with May, and like, what the with the Witherspoons? What the actual, like, initially when everything was going on in New York, I wanted to give them like the benefit of the doubt and be like, in a moment of desperation, they grabbed May to save her and left. But like, I couldn't sort of reconcile that, because like her mother was looking for her, and then like as like the book goes on, I kept thinking like, oh my god, please do not let, because you hear like, you know that like certain people in Aminata's life die, but you don't get confirmation that May died. So throughout like the whole thing, I'm like, please God, do not let this book end without May coming back, or Aminata finding her daughter or something. And I'm going to spoil it. And if you don't want to, then I'll just maybe put a little like time stamp thingy. But thankfully, yes, May finds her mother, and you basically learn that the Witherspoons were trying to make May believe that her mother abandoned her. But as soon as like when May was like 11, she like dipped the fuck out of there and went to like, I don't remember where she went, but she left the Witherspoons and went, oh god, somewhere, I don't remember where, but eventually she, grew up and found her mother, and I was so glad. I was so glad that they got reunited. Yeah, so thankfully, a happy ending. And yeah, I enjoyed this book very, very much. Very powerful book, but it does sort of drag a bit in parts, I will say. So definitely still recommend. But now that I'm finished that classic, I will alternate with the next Lucy Maud Montgomery book, and it's Anne of Ingleside. And this one is, let me read the back blurb for you. There's never a dull moment for busy, bustling Anne Shirley. Excuse me, it's Anne Blythe now. I beg your pardon, it's Anne Blythe now. Who's now the mother of 5 children and has a 6th on the way. The Blythe children, full of energy and a taste for adventure, seem to be forever getting into scrapes and misunderstandings. And with Gilbert's insufferable aunt wearing out her welcome with a visit that never seems to end, Anne's life is a constant whirl. But despite the endless demands on her time, Anne can think of no place she'd rather be than her beloved home, Ingleside. At least not until the day she begins to imagine that her cherished Gilbert doesn't love her anymore. Could it possibly be true? She's a little older, but in her heart, Anne knows she's still the same fiery redhead who came to Green Gables all those years ago. She hasn't changed, but has he? No, he has not. No, he has not. Do not even think it. My Gilbert would never. So I'm very much looking forward to starting this next book in the Anne saga. And yeah, look at her with all her babies. Look at her with all her babies. And very much, yeah, so I'm going to be starting that today. And I am almost, it's going to fall. There you go. And I'm almost finished From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've got like that little bit left. Poppy and Hawk have gone to do a thing. They've left the kingdom where Poppy is sort of being held and doesn't have a lot of freedom, and they've left there, but they've left Tawny behind, which does not make me happy. It makes me think that something bad is going to happen to Tawny, and we've already lost Victor, so I'm not happy about that. In the words of one Eddie from Stranger Things, I don't like this. I don't like this. That Tawny has stayed behind. I worry for that girl. But we are off on a journey with Hawk and some people. We've lost this one guy, Eric, Arrick. And apparently Hawk has some kind of secret that he's keeping from Poppy. I don't know what it is, but they've just had the sex. They've had the sexy times, and he is sort of being very mysterious and worried, and asking her to sort of remember what they feel for each other and to sort of never forget. Which makes me think that Hawk is going to do something not great, or has already done something not great, that Poppy is going to not be okay with. So I have a feeling that a wedge is about to be driven in between our Poppy and Hawk, who, by the way, as soon as he came on the page, I could not see Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I immediately pictured Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I don't remember what Hawk actually looks like, but that's irrelevant. He is Aragorn from Lord of the Rings in my head. So that's sort of where we are. They've just had the sexy times. So see sort of how that goes, and looking forward to finishing that. My historical romance Wanted is off to get edited with like a last sort of final pass over it. I've got a few pictures chosen for potential covers, so we just have to sort of pick through those and see which one is like which one we will decide, because I take like other people's opinions and stuff on it. So yeah. So today I'm debating, what do I want to eat for lunch? I don't know. I don't know if I want pasta or if I want soup. I keep going back and forth. I don't know what I want. Tomorrow I am planning to go to Book City, the bookstore that I haven't been to in a while because I'm trying to be good, but who are we kidding? And I don't know if I'm going to be doing any filming this week, because I did my Outlander reaction for Patreon, so I have to put that up, and I want to maybe like edit some stuff, and depending on what time I come home tomorrow, I might do another update on book 9 of the Outlander series. I think it was chapters 10 to 16, sort of like the next 5 chapters. It was like 11 to 16 or something like that. I might do that tomorrow, depending on what time I come home. And because Friday I'm going over to my sister's to give her her birthday present, because that finally came in the mail too. And yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna go to Book City, maybe do some filming, maybe do some editing, and then Friday I'm going to my sister's. And I thought that that's gonna fall. There you go. I thought that I could finish this clip with a little poem from Pablo Neruda, which I am still reading and enjoying. Some little tabbings and stuff there. So, okay. This one is called Waltz. And I underlined the first line. I loved this first line. I touch hatred like a daily breast. I, ceaseless from close to close, come sleeping far away. I am not, I am no good, I don't know anyone. I have no weapons of sea or of wood. I do not live in this house. With night and water my mouth is filled. The durable moon determines what I do not have. What I do have is in the midst of the waves, a thunderbolt of water, a day for me, an iron bottom. There is no counter sea, no shield, no suit. There is no special, unfathomable solution or vicious eyelid. I live suddenly, and at other times I follow. I suddenly touch a face, and it murders me. I have no time. Do not seek me then, drawing back the customary savage thread or the sanguinary vine. Do not call me, that is my occupation. Do not ask my name or my estate. Leave me in the midst of my own moon, in my wounded terrain. So that's depressing. But yeah, so I think that is going to be it for this clip here. And I hopefully will update you guys tomorrow. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later after we go to Book City and add some more to that mountain. Bye. So, just got back from my walk where I went to Book City and got home and just took a shower. And I thought I would come on here and just show you guys what I got. Because books are not an addiction, and that is important to understand. But what is more important is to not lie to ourselves. So we are going to pretend like we are going to stop pretending that we are trying to not buy books and add to these mountains. But that's not healthy. Lying to ourselves is not healthy. So we can either admit what we have done and try to do better, or we can just keep lying to ourselves. Let me show you what I got. So, went to Book City, and Book City, it's an independent bookstore, but their books are a little pricier than I think they should be for being an independent bookstore. And like I noticed that, but I was able to get like what I got, thankfully, with like, but it's not a store that I frequent often. Like, they're pretty much the same as like big chain bookstores. So that was a little, as I was like looking at like at the prices and stuff, and I was like, I can, but I shouldn't have to, because in my opinion, an independent bookstore should offer me something better if it wants me to frequent it than a big chain bookstore. Like, I could have gone to Indigo and got the same prices for these books, and that's not what I think of when I think of an independent bookstore. And I'm not talking about like a used bookstore, because understandably, yes, used bookstores, the prices are less expensive and that kind of stuff, but I would still expect a independent bookstore to still be like less pricier than a big chain bookstore. But either way, I ended up spending more than I intended to, but thankfully, payday is tomorrow, so we're good. So let me show you what I got. I found they have a little section with choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure books. Now I have a few up there that you can't see because it's out of frame, I think, but it's up there. And I might do I keep mentioning that I want to do a like book tour thing of like my shelves, but I'm waiting until I get one of those like handle things for like the phone, so that I can do sort of that. But we'll just wait until like we get that done. But I found this Choose Your Own Adventure Space and Beyond by R.A. Montgomery, and yeah, they had a few there, so that's pretty cool. It's not Choose Your Own Adventure is not. Like, I know that I believe they're coming out with like they sort of revamped, like they're issuing, and they're they're back in business, basically, because I think they were like really, really big in the 80s, and they sort of died down, and then you couldn't really find them anywhere, and they're still sort of hard to find. But I follow them on Twitter, and I believe that they're coming out with new ones and stuff. So that is really, really cool. Like this one is from 1980. And that's so cool. And like it's just like it's like brand new condition and like just gorgeous. Love it. Then I got The Sweetness of Forgetting by Kristen Harmel. And it is a World War II set story. And you know I love my World War II fiction. So, and then I got this book of poetry that I've heard a lot of good things about by people here on YouTube that I do sort of follow and trust. And we had that whole discussion about BookTube in the last one, so I'm not going to do that. But just it's Mary Oliver's Devotions, and it's a book of poetry. And I was looking through it, and it sort of seems like very kind of up my alley. So got that. And I got the Penguin Classic edition of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Now, this is like the Penguin Black Classics that I like, but it's not exactly like the Penguin Classics that I like, because the Penguin Classics, Black Classics that I like, have the yellow penguin on them, and this one has the white. So it's close, but it's not like, if I find one with the yellow penguin, then I'm definitely grabbing that one, and this one will go to a different home. But I wanted to grab it because I don't think I have the Count of Monte Cristo in my shelves there. I have the Paper Mill Press edition of the Three Musketeers, and if they had that there, I would have gotten that. The Penguin Black Classics of the Three Musketeers, I would have gotten that, because that one I could like read and annotate, while the Paper Mill Press editions I do not want to. I want to leave them for sort of just for pretty. But definitely want to read this one. Love the movie. Love the movie with Jim Caviezel. And yeah, looking forward to reading and annotating this one. And I got this edition of a magazine that they have there called Bookmarks, and it's all about books and different books and articles on authors and like that kind of stuff. And I have one there, and this is the January-February 2023 edition. And I forgot to mention yesterday that I had finished the Audible that I was listening to, which was Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I absolutely loved this book. So I'm trying to get it so it's not the glare and stuff, but absolutely loved it. It was so good. It was so like twisty and banana sandwich, just insane, and just I can't even like, if I think I mentioned before that it's about a woman who, after some very sort of harrowing some very harrowing experiences, including a shooting that takes place in a diner of some kind, where she and her mother are at a diner, and there is a mass shooting that takes place, and something happens during that mass shooting that sets off this chain of events where the daughter learns some secrets about her mama, and that's all I can really say, because like, again, on this channel here, I'm not like precious about like spoilers and stuff, and like I talk about the books that I love and that kind of stuff. But because of the kind of book that this is, because it is a mystery thriller, and that's not really my thing, but if it involves like family secrets and stuff, oh, I'm there. I'm so there. And this one was perfectly what I, the kind of like mystery that I like. And I can't really spoil anything other than that. The mass shooting in the diner, because sort of every step leads to a twist and revelation that was just so well done. And I know from like my experience of like listening to like other people talk about her books that there are other books of Karen Slaughter's that are more sort of violent and bloody and like that kind of stuff. This wasn't that. So I think I mentioned before that this was a good introduction to her, and I want to read more of her stuff. The author, not the author, the narrator. Oh my good gravy. What was her name? I have Kathleen Early. She was so good. Like her, I want to see like what other books she's narrated, because she was fantastic. I cannot recommend this book enough, especially the audio version. Yeah, I think I want to get this book, I think, for my keeper shelf. I want to get this book in paperback for my keeper shelf. So, yeah, I think that's just the updates that I wanted to give you guys. So I think today I'm going to edit my vlog from last week. And because tomorrow I'm going to my sister's, and I'm going to make her a little belated birthday lunch. I'm going to make her some shrimp, the way that, an attempt to make it the way that that our mom makes. Yeah, so going to my sister's tomorrow. Today I'm going to be editing my vlog from last week. Oh, and I already returned it, but I watched the movie Banishing, the horror movie Banishing, about this vicar and his wife, who they go to this, like, they end up moving to this mansion, or this house in, this takes place in England somewhere, and it's the bishop sort of gave him this house to live in, and there's some creepy shit going on in this house, and there's some secrets, and the bishop was an asshole that I knew, like, right from the beginning. You know that the bishop is an asshole. So I'm not spoiling anything there, but I really liked that movie. I really, really liked. It was good. I will say I found the ending a little underwhelming. Just smidge underwhelming. But I liked how the kind of horror that I like, it was sort of like this. Like, it had its moments of like jump scares and that kind of stuff, but it was more of like the atmosphere, and the storyline was horrifying, and like just the build of the tension and like that kind of stuff was, for me, it's like the storyline. My favorite horror movies are when the storyline is scary, the storyline is horrifying, that it's not just about a slasher dude behind every door, and like you call it a horror film because it's all jump scares. If I'm like sitting on my sister's couch and my niece like bursts into the room, I'll jump, startled and stuff. Like, does that make that like a horror movie moment? Like, no. Jump scares to me do not make a horror movie. It's the story has to be horrifying. The things that happen has to be horrifying. That's why I'm not so much for the Saw. First of all, the Saw movies and all that, that's just torture porn. And like Scream, and like that doesn't really like do it. Like, I'll jump and I'll get like startled and all that stuff, but like it's the same as, like, again, if somebody like bursts into the room or whatever and startles you. And I find, and I know that I'm gonna get like, you don't have to agree with me, but I find those kind of horror movies lazy. You're relying on jump scares. I find that lazy. Like, you're not giving me a scary story. You're giving me moments of startlement. That's just my opinion. Yeah, so we went on a little trip there, didn't we? Banishing I really enjoyed it. Will say the ending was a little underwhelming, but as a whole, I thought it was a good movie. And yeah, let's get to lunch. I got some pork chops, defrosting, and maybe some fries. Maybe. So, yep, that'll be it. I'm looking forward to going to my sister's tomorrow and then back to work on Saturday. So I will talk to you guys next time.